What is going on, Bulls Nation? We're back again for another video. There's no game tonight, but I want to address this rumors that's floating around. I've been hearing this, for a while now about Jerami Grant. Don't get me wrong, really good player, power forward, something that the Bulls do need, right? Like uh, I guess a position that would certainly help Chicago Bulls. He's young, athletic, can do switches, pretty good on defense, uh, and can score. What more can you ask for? Um, but here's the problem with Jeremy Grant, though. He is going to cost a lot of money and some assets. And by assets, I mean Patrick Williams. Now, let's put this in a vacuum. Would he help the Bulls this year? Certainly. Uh, would he be enough? Because Jeremy Grant is a nice player. He can probably guard. He can probably slow down or at least get in front of KD. If it comes down to it. Like I said, decent defensive player because we need a defensive player, right? He has size and length. That you could probably match up with KD and Giannis if needed be. I'm not saying he's stopping both. I don't think anyone can stop those two, but could certainly make life a little bit more difficult or like the game a little bit more difficult for those two. Now, acquiring him would come at a cost because he is making a ton of money. He's making, I think, 20 million. So the salaries has to match, and you can imagine not only giving up Patrick Williams, which is, the Bulls are still pretty high on, and I don't really blame them for that. But for all intents and purposes, he is gonna cost us maybe Kobe White, because he's making 9 million, and another player. Um, is it really that much difference that he's gonna bring to the Bulls? That you are willing to give up, our best scoring option off the bench, and a guy that could potentially be and has a higher ceiling than Jeremy Grant. Like I believe when healthy, Patrick Williams will have the same effect as Jeremy Grant in this team. Maybe not in the scoring column, but we don't really need Jeremy Grant to score though, because we do. I feel like we do have enough of that. Now it doesn't hurt to score, but what we need is the defensive mind of switching. So you would put Vooch in a position where he doesn't need to switch as much and be left in an island, and again contest the shot and rebound by himself. Having Patrick Williams, which arguably could be back when playoff time comes. If we stand pat, at least keeping Patrick Williams, we would maybe keep DJ and the first round pick that we acquired from Portland and Kobe White. I just feel like the asking price for Jeremy Grant is too high. Now, if we leave, here's the deal with Jeremy Grant. Let's just say they don't ask for Patrick Williams, right? And they ask for Kobe, first round pick, and DJ. And maybe another player just to match the salary, right? Maybe Tyler Cook and somebody else. That's good and all. But what are we going to do with Patrick Williams when he comes back? Are we going to slide him to small forward? Are we going to, delegate him off the bench? And what are we going to do now with Jeremy Grant? Now we are paying 4 guys, or 5 guys, including Lonzo, at around $20 million each. The bench is just going to be decimated. I mean, I get it. You could always trade, I guess, Jeremy Grant, because after this year, Jeremy Grant is going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. Well, he still have 1 year in this contract after this, but I'm guessing they're not going to re-sign him. I mean, if we are about to pay Zach LaVine and having Patrick Williams on the team, could you trade Jeremy Grant? Yes, he's always going to be on demand for a lot of teams, especially contending teams, but with no leverage whatsoever. I mean, who's now you would lose some, assets. Depending on what assets we have to give up for him, I'm not really sold on Jeremy Grant, And at the same time, I feel like once Patrick comes back, it'll stunt his growth. Like his growth with the team. If we can strike a deal for a bargain, and even acquiring Jeremy Grant, I don't think honestly, I don't think it's gonna get us over the hump. If we get some bargain buyout guys, that is without, because when you do that, you don't compromise your future, and you see what happened when we compromise our future. This was a good move still, with Vooch giving up 2 first round picks, and Wendell Carter. Tell me right now that you would not rather have Wendell Carter in those 2 first rounders than Vooch. Vooch has some nice games, don't get me wrong, and I think Vooch is one of the biggest reasons why we're in a position we are at today, because it gave us, it became legit. It gave us a bit of, like a name that, hey, we are just one player away, and that he might have helped in the DeMar DeRozan recruiting. And, DeMar said it himself, like Vooch recruited him to come to Chicago, and we became more attractive because of Vooch. So even though he's not playing well, we can attribute the success that we do have, and having these players around us, maybe getting Caruso and Ball and DeRozan. Maybe, I don't know for certain DeRozan, but that made us a bit more attractive rather than just having Zach to sell on these free agents, right? It looks like we're in an upward trajectory once we got Vooch. Now he's not playing as well as we want him to, but when he turns the corner, and hopefully he does, he'd be a big help. I don't know if we're gonna have the same effect for Jerami Grant. That's all I'm saying here. He's this almost the same size as DeMar. We need some. You know what? If there's any guy, I'd wanted Miles Turner. Would I trade Patrick Williams for Miles Turner? No. Turner has a long list of injuries. He's only 25 years old as well. But I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on Patrick Williams as of yet. Because these guys, in a couple of years, DeMar's not going to be on the team. Vooch is going to be a free agent. So you need a running mate for Zach. And arguably, you can have, if Patrick Williams developed into this guy that we wanted him to be, then he will take the reins as, the top dog in the Chicago Bulls. And at that point, you don't want to mortgage your future for that, because that future is not far off. That's in a couple of years. So, but let me know how you feel about this in the comments down below. Am I the only one maybe I'm overvaluing Patrick Williams here? It's either that, or I just don't feel like that Jerami Grant is just the answer. That I don't want to, bet the farm on him. That's just how I feel. But let me know what are your thoughts on this scenario? Would you rather just buy, like buyouts and free agents that are, older guys and save those assets that we do have, or look for a deal that was right, like a Christian Wood? But then again, Christian Wood, that he would cost maybe Patrick Williams as well. So I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Again, thank you for watching. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. It's really awesome to see the growth that I've had in the past 3 weeks, and to see all this Bulls fan discussing these what if scenario and our passionate fans in here. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.